All right, so in your history spirals, you should be open to the next clean page. On the far right side, you should have your first and last name. It's good practice because some of us are slipping already on our homework and just putting our first name and our last letter. First and last name, complete date, which is August 12th, it says on the board. On the far left side, we always put the title of the lesson, Types of Government. You have heard this lesson again before. I've added some video to it to make it slightly different for you, but it's still pretty basic. Let's look at the objective board. 2 things that we need to accomplish today. I'm only going to be talking for like 20 minutes. You need to master just 20 minutes. Okay? Make it simple for you. Number 1, I want you to master by the end of class today is that students will be able to understand exactly what a government is. Just like yesterday, we talked about types of change. The very first thing I wanted to do was give you a definition of change so you know what we're talking about. We're going to know what government is right away. Second goal is you're going to be able to understand the differences between these 5 major types of government. They are not the only types of government, but anarchy, monarchy, democracy, United States, we have a democracy, theocracy, and a dictatorship. Okay, those are the 5 we need to know. Step number 1, objective number 1 is what in the world is a government? We hear it all the time, in the news, wherever. What is it exactly? Here it is. What is a government? A government is a system of rules. Oh gosh, rules. It's a system of policies, which automatically takes us into this classroom. Maybe this classroom is a government. It's a system of rules, a system of policies used to, here comes my favorite part, exercise the power over citizens. You're the citizens. I exercise my power over you. System of rules or policies used to exercise the power over citizens in a country, in a state, in a territory, really anywhere. Like I said in this classroom, I have a system of rules. So basically I have a government. Freedom Academy has a set of rules for students. You sign the handbook, right? You're the citizens. Freedom Academy is the government. Unfortunately, there's also a teacher handbook that I had to sign. Freedom Academy is the government. Okay? Everywhere you go, there's policies, there's rules that's used to exercise the power. Any questions over the definition of a government? Hopefully you'll see in a few minutes that a system of rules is not meant to be a bad thing, it's meant to be a helpful thing. Does anyone in here have a rule that your government, maybe mom or dad, has put into place? Yeah?
Me?
Britt?
I'm not allowed to leave the duck poop on the floor.
Leave what on the floor?
Duck poop.
Yeah, don't leave, that's a pretty good rule. I would hope everyone has that rule. Don't leave the dog poop on the floor.
Duck poop.
Yep.
Oh, my mom always says don't choke.
Don't choke.
Don't choke on the floor.
Everyone should have that rule too. That's a good government rule by your mom or dad. Yep.
You can't go to school until you've done your chores and made your bed.
Can't go to school until you've made your bed. In my house, we have the rule that when Noah gets home, when Zoe gets home, first thing they do is they get their rear ends to the table. I'll bring them a snack. They get their rear ends to the table. We get the homework done. Right after that, we instantly go into our workout. Okay, I have a workout. He does a little workout. He does treadmill. He does small weights. Then it's his free time. We have a rule. We have policies that we do to help you become a better person. Do you have one?
No chucking stuff into the wall.
No chucking stuff into the wall. I think all of us have that rule pretty much.
Yeah.
I thought it was, doesn't really need written out. That's kind of obvious one, but in case you don't have it, don't chuck things at the wall. That's a good governmental policy by your parents. Okay, so here is our first government. It is anarchy. Before I get to the definition, I want you to know that anarchy does not mean complete chaos. It does not mean complete. It does not mean go looting stores, robbing, setting things on fire. Do whatever you want. Not yet, command and control. Not yet, command and control. This will be our signature move from now on. Okay? Anarchy is not complete chaos. Command and Control, this is his first day, maybe his last day. Which video is talking? It's the Anarchy one.
This is Anarchy.
Look for the purple barn at your grocery store.
Something's talking.
Farmsolutions.com, AreaSpaceFoundation.org to learn more.
It's that one.
Anarchy. The
Okay,
heart
pause
of
it.
the punk.
Now go back to our slide for me, please, Command and Control. I'll just call you CC from now on. Okay, so here's the simple definition of anarchy. Again, not complete chaos, not just robbing and looting. That's not the idea of anarchy. Anarchy is a form of government where there is a total absence of government. There's no one really in charge. Okay? And when we watch the video, it's going to kind of explain why. The video basically says that they think that people know how to work with each other properly, and that if there was no government, all people would feel relieved and actually do the right thing by themselves. Oh, thank goodness the government's not here. Good, now we can just do it the way we want. We'll do it the right way without the government's help. Anarchy is meant to be kind of a peaceful, we can figure this kind of out by ourselves. Okay? One other thing I need you to know about anarchy is that those three words, form of government, in your spiral, I would write form of government equals, form of government equals set of rules. Form of government equals set of rules. So we can delete the three words form of government and we can add in set of rules. So it's a set of rules where there's a total absence of government. We get that? Form of government equals set of rules. We have a flag down there because that country, at least the last time I checked, had an anarchy-style government. Okay, I would go ahead and draw that rectangle, put that star in there real fast. When the video plays, I want you to listen to the video, but you can also color your flag when it's video time. Okay? Blue flag, white star. Raising your hand, does anyone have a clue on what this African country's flag is that might have an anarchy government? Command and Control?
Somalia.
Somalia. So I would put that in your notes. That is the Somalian flag. Last time I checked, they were an anarchy type government. Okay, so we're going to get ready to watch the video. It's got some pretty good information about an anarchy. It's like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Listen to the video, fix your anarchy notes, or color your flag. CC? Here comes the sponsorship for this television program.
The turbocharged dream ship, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, named one of car drivers 10 best 10 years in a row.
Anarchy, the heart of the punk movement in the 70s and 80s, a driving force for civil wars and violent revolutions, a concept held in esteem by activists like Leo Tolstoy, Noam Chomsky, and Mahatma Gandhi. So, what is anarchy, very simply, is a state of being without any government or authority. The original concept of anarchy was born alongside and in response to the concepts of democracy and other political systems. But it wasn't until later, around the 18th and 19th centuries, that modern anarchist philosophy was fully developed in Western countries. Following the French Revolution, anarchism gained prominence as a political alternative to theocracies or monarchies, and as an attempt to achieve total equality by eliminating authoritarian roles. However, as Noam Chomsky and other academics have admitted, it is somewhat of an unrealistic utopian theory. Many forms of modern anarchy are political ideologies that hold the government responsible for the world's problems. Because there are many forms of state control, there are many different forms of anarchy. For example, anarcho-feminism says that hierarchies of the state lead to patriarchy, which leads to oppression. Green anarchism states that environmental exploitation is a result of capitalist government policy. And despite the violence commonly associated with anarchy, anarcho-pacifism holds that it is the state that creates unnecessary political violence and should therefore be abolished. In fact, violence is not an intrinsic part of modern anarchism, as many believe. Tolstoy and Gandhi specifically petitioned against all forms of violence. And Chomsky has said that, quote, anarchy is not people running around the street.
Okay, so one more time, here's what I was telling you early. This guy's belief on anarchy is that it's not people running around the streets. It says breaking store windows. It's a conception of very organized society where people are getting along because there's very little control. They believe that if the government will leave the people alone, the people will work amongst themselves and they'll figure out how to do it. Okay? And then you can go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint. We're not going to watch the rest of this. Go back to the PowerPoint. So here's what I want to get into a conversation here a little bit. Raise your hand if you have it. How many of you think an anarchy government could work? Raise your hand. Why? Why do you think it could work?
Because people have their own opinion and they feel like they have the power over their own.
Like lives?
Yeah.
Okay, so people feel like they have more worth. Maybe they have more power in their life where the government's not kind of always looking over. Yeah? Could it work?
Yeah, because there's probably less taxes, so people have the money to pay for more.
For other areas, other needs?
Areas, like essential needs.
Okay. One more?
I think that if there's at least half democracy, half anarchy, it would work together. So it's like everybody has a say in something, that everybody gets to participate in what happens.
Okay.
But it still has some control, so then it doesn't.
Okay, so let's put this in the scenario and be honest here, because I know you're going to go, yeah, this is awesome. Let's say that no teacher comes to school on Monday. No principal comes to school on Monday, and your job is to come and do what you're supposed to do with no quote unquote government here. How do you think that day would go? And let's say you have a test over what you're supposed to learn the day after that. How would the day go?
Well, I mean, some kids would try to organize, but there's always some other kids who won't listen.
That's what I was going to say when you were talking, is that in anything, you have a group of people that try to follow the rules, right? And it probably could work. But unfortunately, there's those small group of people that kind of ruin it sometimes, that you have to worry about them. But they're the people in the video that we see doing the fires and breaking into windows. That's their version of anarchy, but that's not really what anarchy is. So I want to do this. I want to ask you a question. How many of you now can appreciate your parents or the school or me or teachers having policies and rules? Raise your hand if you can appreciate having rules. Okay, you people with the hands up, repeat after me. I love rules.
I love rules.
Thank you. Repeat after me. Mom, Dad, I love your rules. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I like your rules.
Repeat after me. Freedom Academy has great rules. 1, 2, 3.
Freedom Academy has okay rules.
Repeat after me. Mr. Flegel, I love your classroom rules. 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Flegel, I like your classroom rules.
Thank you, students. Parents, if you want to know who said that, I can let you know. Just email me. Here's our second type of government that we need to learn today. Monarchy. There's those 3 words, form of government, which we already said means a set of rules, kind of. A form of government where a king or queen has the power in the government. Someone from the royal family is in charge. King or queen, maybe a Dutch, it could be any member of the royal family, is in charge of the government. Okay, when you get those notes, go ahead and draw your rectangle. The artwork on the flag does not have to be perfect. Okay, just put a skinny rectangle at the top and color it red. Put a skinny rectangle on the bottom and color it red. color the middle yellow, and then just make like a red square. It doesn't have to be that detailed. Just give yourself an idea of what the flag looks like. I'll give you a clue, a really good clue, that this flag that has a monarchy government with a king or queen or someone from the royal family in charge of the government is in Europe. Oh man, I know one Europe country. I hope it's this one. If it's not, I don't know anymore. It's not Netherlands. You know that's not the Netherlands flag. Does anyone know what flag this is? They're decent at soccer, so we'll go Matt.
Spain.
That is Spain, España. So next to your flag, write Spain. Here we go. Take another photo, snapshot in your brain of what that flag looks like, because we're going to go to our video when I tell Command and Control for monarchy. So your three choices are touch up your notes on monarchy, fix your flag a little bit, or just listen to us about monarchy. Hit it, CC.
Is this one or the?
What's the video title?
What?
Monarchies. It says right down there. Why do we still have monarchies? Yep. Another paid commercial so that we can keep this program rolling.
The turbocharged the Volkswagen Golf
Do I need to be good?
10 years in a row.
That's a loud version.
Be the judge of the...
On September 9th,
I think
2015, Queen Elizabeth II surpassed her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, to become the longest-running British monarch in history. But although the Queen is quite popular in the United Kingdom, about 1 in 6 Britons feel that the monarchy should be completely abolished. So why do we still have monarchies? Well, the United Kingdom isn't the only country to retain a royal family. In fact, there are around 40 nations worldwide with monarchs, with various titles like king, queen, sultan, and emir. Many of these countries are leftover British colonies who still acknowledge the authority of Queen Elizabeth II. Several are still ruled through absolute monarchies. Nations like Swaziland and Qatar have hereditary rulers who exert full control over legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government. One of the most successful absolute monarchies is in Vatican City, which is governed by the Pope. The rest are primarily in the Middle East and Africa. These nations tend to be plagued by human rights abuses because there aren't sufficient checks on the monarch's supreme power. But in most nations with royal families, like Sweden or Japan, monarch power is minimal, and they have few, if any, official state duties. They retain mostly symbolic power and exist as the face of the country for ceremonial functions. Known as the head of state, they differ from the head of government, who would be the actual political leader of their government. In the United Kingdom, one expert summed up the Queen's duties as the right to be consulted, the right to encourage, and the right to warn. The Queen's political powers do include appointing the Prime Minister and declaring war or peace. However, traditionally, the monarch's decisions in the UK have aligned with the constitutional government. If they were ever to disagree, these laws could change to remove the monarch's authority. For example, in 2008, the Grand Duke of Luxembourg refused to sign a euthanasia bill into law, although it had been approved by Parliament. Well,
Okay, so again, that was a duke, I believe they said right there. It's someone from the royal family. It could be a king, queen, could be a duke, could be anyone from the royal family in charge. And what the video basically said is that some people are wondering, why do we still have monarchies? I'm trying to say monopoly and monarchies at the same time. They're wondering, why do we still have monarchies? Why do they still exist? Okay, we go ahead and take us to our third government. Democracy. Please know that the United States has a democracy. Some people question how good our democracy is, but we have a democracy. On the quiz Monday, United States, democracy. On the quiz Monday, United States, a country. On the quiz on Monday, United States is part of North America. That's its continent, okay? North America, we're a country with a democracy. Don't miss it. please. Simple definition of democracy here: a system of government in which the people rule. In sixth grade history, does anyone remember the 2 Greek words for democracy? The video is going to talk about it here in a few minutes. The 2 Greek words for democracy?
Democracy.
You're close. Nico.
Demo and Crossing.
Yeah, I think it's demos and kratos. They might say it slightly different with a different accent. Demos, kratos, democracy, the people rule. The United States has a democracy. We're not the only ones with a democracy, but we have a democracy, okay? Here we go with the video again. You can be drawing the flag, you can be touching up your notes, or be listening to our short presentation on democracy. And I forget who our ad is. The dog again.
The turbocharged dream machine, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, named one of car drivers.
Like that little car can go that fast.
The term democracy has taken on many different meanings throughout history. Today, the term is so broad that even countries with seemingly undemocratic political structures still call themselves democracies. So then, what is a democracy? Well, simply put, a democracy is a system of governance where everyone in the group gets an equal say in what happens to the group.
Okay, so I want to stop it there because we got into this conversation last hour. It says democracy is a government in which everyone is basically equal. So we got into this conversation, and they're going to spark the conversation in a little bit. Is really every single person in the United States treated equal? No, rhetorical right now. Is me, Mr. Flegel of Phoenix, Arizona, really treated equal as much as the senator of the states, or of a millionaire of a business company? Am I really the same as them, or do they have a little bit extra say when it comes to really important country decisions? We'll talk about it in a minute, but we're gonna get on a quote up here pretty soon, and we're gonna freeze it on the quote, so be watching me, command and control, and then we'll get some participation. Go ahead.
That's why the roots of this word are demos, which is Greek for people, and kratia, Greek for power. The people hold the power. The ancient Greeks from around the 5th century BC are generally credited with officially establishing this as a political philosophy, but it may have emerged even earlier. The concept of democracy is simple, fair, and pretty much common sense, except when it's not. Take, for instance, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea,
Okay, so this is interesting. This North Korea. Raising your hand, does anyone know how crazy North Korea is? Do you hear anything? North Korea's technical name is the Democratic People Republic of Democratic North Korea? Come on!
No.
That's a scam. Go to the next one.
North Korea, or the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Not really democratic at all. They're using these names because democracy isn't so liked around the world. They're using these names to kind of cover up what's really in those countries.
Congo. Despite their names, they are among the least democratic nations worldwide, according to the Economist Intelligence Unit. Both of these countries have long-standing authoritarian rulers not elected by popular vote.
Not elected,
Even the
but they're
United States, a famous beacon of democracy, does not reportedly give all people equal power in the government. A recent Cambridge Journal report found that the economic elite call most of the shots, and that the popular majority does not rule.
Okay, so right there, here's one quote there. I guess there's another one. It says this article believes that the economic elite, that means the rich dudes, they're the ones that really make the decisions when it comes to important elections or things that will benefit our country. Not the little people, not the history teacher in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's the economic elite. How many of you raise your hand want to chime in on this and believe, no, that's bogus. No, I think we really are all equal. Or how many of you say, I think there could be some truth to that? What do you got? Anyone? What do you got?
I don't think it's always true because I don't think, I feel like some people, based on skin color or sometimes based on personalities, they aren't always treated equally.
Okay, so would you agree that it has something to do with money or not so much? It's other things. Or all of it? All of it. Okay, both. Anyone else want to chime in on it? Do you think it's the economic elite? Are we all treated equally? Anyone? Okay, let's continue on then. We'll get to that last
Political
quote. Here it is.
commentator known.
So it says here, this guy believes that the lower 70% of the wealth, meaning this, the lower 70%, the top 30% in the United States, they're the ones that make the decision. It says here, the lower 70 of wealth have no influence in the policies. The lower 70%. Do we buy this?
Yeah.
You do? Why? You don't know why? Okay. You're allowed to think of it. You have to have an opinion to back it up. Does anyone buy this? The lower 70%, based on how much money you make, has very little influence. It's the top 30%. You got something?
Yeah, because they think just because they make less than the rich people, that their word doesn't matter.
Good. We can go ahead and cut off of this video. We'll be done with this one. Regardless of what you think, we live in the greatest country in the world, and we have a constitution that provides these rights to vote. We have people that are fighting to protect our rights. Go vote when you're able to. Take the chance to vote, okay? People in other countries don't get this privilege like the second one we're going to get here. They don't have the right. Let's go to our next to last one, theocracy, and I don't have a video one for this one, CC. We just need to get the noties. A theocracy is a government ruled by a god or higher power. It says in a theocracy, their religious leaders set up religious laws and settle disputes. I'm a religious person. That sounds good to me. It's just, who is their religious god? And who is this religious person? I mean, can we trust this religious person? It's a little scary to me, but obviously there are some countries that think it's going well for them. Theocracy is a government ruled by a god or higher power. In a theocracy, their religious leaders lead the society, make the laws, and settle disputes. Go ahead and draw your flag again. I just make a skinny green rectangle on the top, a skinny red rectangle at the bottom, a white one in the middle, and I'm going to call that thing, I'm not totally sure if it's a falcon or like a scale, I don't know what, but just a red circle maybe in the middle. Does anyone know what country has a theocracy? They use their religious leaders. Yep.
Italy.
What is it?
Italy.
Not Italy. Kind of looks Italian, but the green, white, and red is kind of tilted the other way in Italy. Yeah?
Iran.
Iran. Iran, you know, that country that we always get along with? No. We're like Iran's #1 enemy, and we don't trust them. They don't trust us, but we try to negotiate and work on major topics that have to get fixed. Like we just had a nuclear deal with them. Iran is tricky. They don't trust us. We don't trust them, but they use a theocracy. Okay, I'm not going to give you a lot of time to color that one. There's not a video. You'll probably have time here toward the end. Next slide, please. Command and control. Our fifth type of government is a dictatorship. Honestly, being a teacher in charge of a classroom, every teacher would probably have to say they run a dictatorship. This is my room. You're my people. This is what we do. Okay, dictatorship. In a dictatorship, power is not inherited, usually, not given to them, but is usually acquired by force. They say, hi, we're in charge now, with their large weapons. A dictator has absolute control over the lives of its citizens. When you turn on the radio in a place with a dictatorship, it's probably a nice message about how great the leader is. He's awesome, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. When you turn on the TV, it's probably a TV show about how awesome the country is and how awesome the leader is.
Like you.
When you drive down the street, there are probably posters everywhere of this person. The people living in this country have no clue how bad their lifestyle is because they don't know about the outside world. In this country here, I can tell you that only the elite, the very elite and the most trusted of this dictator have internet. They don't give you rights and privileges in this country. I know, some of us, no internet! That's okay, I'll just use my data plan. No, you don't have a data plan. I think they kind of use this red, white, and blue to kind of maybe kind of look like the United States flag. This country here also uses the word democratic in their official country title, and they're not democratic at all. What country is this, Command and Control?
North Korea.
North Korea. North Korea is, again, we don't trust them at all. They're very secluded. They don't listen to the outside world because all they do is listen to their absolute leader. This video is definitely the most entertaining of them all. You're going to hear some crazy election things like this. In North Korea, they reported that 100% of all North Koreans came to their election to vote for the leader. Every single person showed up to vote. Raise your hand. Does anyone know why?
Because they force them to?
If they don't, they're probably going to go missing in the middle of the night. Are you going to be the one that doesn't vote for the dictator? No, I'm voting for the dictator. But they do have elections. Here's what they do in their elections. The video is going to tell us. It's the best video of them all today. Here's what they do in their elections. They have an election. North Koreans, come vote. Here's the line if you would like to vote for the absolute leader. We recommend it. And if you don't want to, the video calls it, they have a special booth if you don't want to vote for the dictator. Special booth. That means when you walk in, they open up the door, close it behind, and probably pulverize you. I'm not going into the special booth. So you have a choice. Do you want to vote for the dictator? Or go into the special booth? No, thank you. Command and Control, hit our dictatorship video. This one's pretty entertaining.
Another word from our sponsor.
Another word from our sponsor. We only have one sponsor at this point, so if anyone's interested out there, shoot me an email, jflegal@freedom-academy.com.
The turbocharged Dream Machine, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, named one of car drivers 10 best 10 years in a row.
And their family might get killed. So it's like hard.
In July 2015, North Korea held its latest round of elections, boasting nearly 100% voting turnout.
100%!
Despite calling themselves the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, they've been ranked as the least democratic and most authoritarian country in the world. So how exactly does North Korea's government work? Well, North Korea is effectively a totalitarian state run by a dynastic line of dictators. North Korea's cultural and political identity is based on a devotion to leader Kim Il-sung, whose presidential authority is written into the Constitution. In fact, the long-dead leader is still officially the eternal president, making North Korea the only necroocracy in the world. However, it is his grandson, Kim Jong-un.
That is the current leader of North Korea. Yes, he's the guy on the dictator of the movie.
The North Korean government is basically split into three branches: executive, legislative, and...
Okay, so as you can see here, North Korea does something very clever. They name their branches of government executive, legislative, judicial didn't pop up yet. Just like us. So it must be a democracy.
No. The executive branch is controlled by the premier and Kim Jong-un, who is also in control of the military. The legislative branch is primarily a Congress called the Supreme People's Assembly. Elections for the SPA are every 5 years, and ostensibly they are a check and balance against the other two branches. The SPA is occupied almost entirely by members of the Workers' Party of Korea, which is the only ruling party allowed by the Constitution. There are two other minor parties, but they are both controlled by the Workers' Party. The judicial branch is known for secretive trials and it disregards...
The judicial branch has secret trials. Yikes. Secret.
Right. All judges are selected by the SBA. So how does this all work in practice? Well, candidates for Congress are chosen by the Workers' Party. Each candidate runs unopposed, and anybody who wants to vote against the candidate has to use a special booth. Since North Korea publicly executes its citizens for any anti-state actions, this is not a good idea. After all, the chosen candidates win their elections
Public
by a landslide. The new
executions.
SBA Congress rarely meets. Historically, they are a
He'll do the
rubber stamp
absolute rule
Congress.
once.
and have
He's going to
approved
use you
nearly
as an
every single
example so
proposal.
no one else does what
And
you
in
just
fact,
did.
North Korea goes through all the motions of a parliamentary democracy while operating as a theocratic dictatorship. Clearly, one does not disagree with the divine rights of the leader of a theocracy, in this case, Kim Il-sung. While North Koreans may want to put a stop to the countless human rights abuses, mass incarceration, and widespread famine, there is no political method of doing so. The cult of personality surrounding the Kim family is one of the...
All right. Will you go ahead and take us back to our PowerPoint presentation and take us to the first slide where our objective is? Slide 1. Okay, let's review. Raising your hand, who can tell me this? Students will be able to understand what a government. What is a government? Government is basically a set of rules to do what?
To exercise the power over citizens.
To exercise the power of the citizens. Are rules bad? No. They're meant to guide you and give you direction. Number 2, which of those 5 governments is led by the religious leaders? Which one is led by Brit?
Theocracy.
Theocracy. Which one of those most people think this government means? It's just complete chaos, set fires, do whatever you want. Which government is that?
Anarchy.
It's not that way. It's anarchy. Good. Which of these governments is ruled by a member of the royal family?
Monarchy.
It's a monarchy. Which of those governments, hold on, I'm going to my prayer closet, does the United States have?
Democracy.
Democracy. And then which of those is North Korea?
Dictatorship.
Dictatorship, okay? Let's take a 2-minute break. I passed out a classwork for you. You might understand it and you might want to go ahead and get started. We have safely 20 minutes. So if you know how to do it, go ahead and get started. If you don't, I'll be around.